All right, what's up? And it is time for part three of my favorite albums of 2019. This is Thrash Till Death 555. I'm David, and if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. Well, before I do, just as I previously stated, if you don't find that what I'm saying about these albums is enough, the best way to, you know, the best thing to do is to go and check this stuff out for yourself, make your own opinions, and be your own judge as to what you think the music is and, what you think about it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into part three of this list. First up, we have Krypts with Cadaver Circulation. This is their third full-length released on Dark Descent Records. Evil, dark, death metal, very doomy at times. I guess you can almost say this is in the death doom territory. Lots of incantation influence going on here. Just absolutely evil sounding gutturals. Great, awesome, devastatingly heavy riffs. Crushing, absolutely just sinister vibe all throughout, dripping with creepy evil atmosphere. I still think I prefer the previous album, Remnants of Expansion, over this, but this is still a fucking awesome album, and definitely one of the best death metal albums of this year, even though there's a ton of great death metal that came out this year. But yeah, Krypts, Cadaver Circulation, still great. Love what this band does. Amazing band from Finland. The Finnish, they do this doomy style of death metal fucking perfectly, it seems. You got bands like Swallowed and Hooded Menace. They always seem to kill it when it comes to doing this genre. But some of my favorite tracks on here, I really like The Reek of Loss and the closing track, Circling the Between. Yeah, really, really good shit. Krypts, Cadaver, Circulation. Next up, we go to Fetid with Steeping Corporeal Mess. This is released on 20 Bucks Spin. This is their debut full length. A band from the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely disgusting, grimy, nasty, just swampy, dark death metal. Fetid, if you like any of that filthy death metal shit, like Undergang and Phrenolith, definitely give these guys a listen. This release had a lot of similarities to the Cerebral Riot album that also came out this year, which we might talk about here in a minute. But just three members, and what they accomplish on this album for only having, three members, one guitar player especially. So fucking devastatingly heavy, great blast beats. The production is nice and thick and clear, but yet still has that absolute dirty filthiness that you want for this style of death metal. Vocals just sound absolutely sinister and fucking vomited as, just really ugly gutturals on this. Just really, really solid death metal once again for 2019. Can't wait to see what this band does next. I got turned on to these guys by my friend Michael, who only had their demo out at the time, and was very eager to hear what they would sound like with their full length. And they killed it, for sure. Some of my favorite tracks on here, I really like Dripping Sub Tepidity, and the closing track, Draped in What Was, if I had to pick a few. But Fetid, Steeping Corporeal Mess, great shit. And next up, we go to Vulture with Ghastly Waves and Battered Graves. This is their second full length, and they have left High Roller and are now on to Metal Blade. So congratulations, guys. Really cool to see you on a bigger label. It is definitely well-deserved. Vulture is a kick-ass German heavy speed metal band. Ever since I heard their debut full length, the Guillotine back in 2017, I was absolutely just blown away and very impressed by these guys' music. Just super blazing fast, riffs, absolute precision with the riffing on here. Just the vocals, I love the reverb on this guy's vocals and just his high, shrill, banshee shrieks that he does and his wails. His vocals are definitely one of the highlights of the album. Lots of thrash vibes on here, even though it is mainly heavy speed metal for the most part still. And even though it clocks in about 45 minutes, there is not a single moment wasted on here. Never gets dull, never gets boring. The tempo changes up quite a bit, even though it is speed metal. But yeah, they still keep it interesting and solid drumming, amazing guitar solos and riffs. Yeah, just really, really cool stuff. And I love that cover. It looks like something you would see on the cover of an Italian horror flick. And there is some horror influence on here with the lyrics and everything. But yeah, these guys knocked it out of the park once again with their second full length. Can't wait to hear what they do on the next album. Fucking awesome. Some of my favorite tracks on here, I really like the title track, Ghastly Waves and Battered Graves. I also like Tarantula and Murderous Militia. Murderous Militia just having some really, really fast, infectious riffs on there. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. Vulture, Ghastly Waves, and Battered Graves. Okay, and next we are going to one that I do not own physically. This is Fuki with Million Scarlets. So Fuki is a singer-songwriter that I have talked about on this channel many times before, known as being the vocalist for Unlucky Morpheus, guesting on a few Dragon Guardian albums, and also she's also the vocalist of Lightbringer. She has a ton of really cool projects. She is my absolute favorite female vocalist, not just from Japan, female vocalist in general, my all-time favorite. And I guess this is her second or third solo album. It's kind of weird because she has another solo album that's under the name Fuki Commune. The album was called Welcome, released in 2016, and yeah, this is just called Fuki. So I guess, yeah, I'm not sure what number album this is for, but anyway, this is a really, really cool mix of J-pop, hard rock, and melodic metal. Just really, really catchy, fun, sing-along stuff on here, even though, well, I guess I can't really say sing-along because I don't know what the hell she's saying. It's all in Japanese, but just super catchy and fun to listen to. I've listened to this so many times this year. When the metal songs just have a lot of really cool riffs, great melodies, very good guitar work from whoever the guitar player is on here. They're great. Fuki's vocals are just absolutely beautiful, going from just, that sweet and tender and epic and powerful that she just absolutely nails on every album that she does. Yeah, I absolutely love this album. I do have a physical copy on the way, which unfortunately is a little pricey because it's coming all the way from Japan. Shipping from Japan is usually a little ridiculous, but yeah, absolutely love this album. Love everything Fuki does, and you can't go wrong. If that sounds like something that appeals to you, definitely check this out. So yeah, Fuki with Million Scarlets. Love this album. Gorgeous. Next up, we go to Nucleus with Entity. This is released on Unspeakable Acts, and actually this is a co-release with Unspeakable Acts and Dark Descent. Nucleus is a band from the US. This is their second full length. They have an album prior to this called, I can't remember what the album before this is called, but this is the one I discovered them with. I never heard this band before. I just saw it popping up on my Bandcamp feed a lot and decided to check it out. Very, very cool sci-fi themed technical death metal. You've got a lot of Finnish death metal influences in here, along with obviously some Demolic. Obviously, they're big fans of Time Goal as well. You can hear it straight up on the album in a lot of these songs. Plenty of thrash influence as well. Just lots of really cool riffs, and brings in. There's also some pretty similar vibes from that I would also compare them to Blood Incantation quite a bit, because they really do bring that spacey sci-fi kind of atmosphere throughout the album. It is a concept album, as far as I know. I haven't really read the lyrics, but yeah, this is just really solid sci-fi themed death metal. And it's funny because we had a lot of sci-fi themed death metal this year, and we're going to talk about a couple more later on in this list, but I'm not going to give those away yet. But yeah, very, very cool vocals. I love the riffs. The drumming is extremely solid, very just precise, technical, and just, yeah, left my jaw on the floor when I heard the drumming on this. Pretty good production, a little murky sounding here and there, but you can still make it all out for the most part. But yeah, absolutely solid sci-fi themed technical death metal. So if you like Demilich, Time Goal, you know, you know the drill, or you get the idea. Yeah, then definitely check out Nucleus with Entity. All right, next up, Abyssal with a Beacon in the Husk. This is released on Profound Lore Records. This is their 4th full length. So I gotta admit, this album definitely took some quite a few listens for me to really get into. It really needed to grow on me. This is their most raw sounding album yet. The production on here is pretty raw. At times, I feel like the drums aren't turned up quite enough, or like the guitars seem a little too quiet sometimes. It just seems a little unbalanced with the production on here sometimes, but maybe that was intentional. For me personally, I definitely feel like they've had a lot better production on their past 2 albums, and as I also mentioned in a previous video, when I showed that split that they did with Carcinoma, I really would have preferred that they went with the production for that on this album. But there is still some really good stuff on here. It's still Abyssal being Abyssal, really good, dark, atmospheric, blackened death metal. There is still some really cool riffs on here, and they do some unique and cool different things on here that they've never really done on past releases. For example, on the track Dialogue, which is one of my favorites on here, towards the end, there's a really cool post-rock bit that comes in. It gets really melodic and just very, very fitting. But, not my favorite by Abyssal, but I still really enjoy this. Like I said, it just took some time for it to grow on me. And I'm still very eager to hear what they do after this, because this is still one of my favorite death metal bands, or blackened death metal bands for today. So Abyssal, A Beacon in the Husk. All right, next up, Idle Hands with Mana, or Mana, however you want to say it. Mana, if you're an anime video game nerd like myself, you say Mana. But yeah. So this is an album that I did not know anything about until I was watching Banker TV, and Sarah did a review on this. Never heard of it before, and didn't really think it was something that was going to be on my radar. But after listening to her or watching her review, it really piqued my interest. I checked it out, and I was just very, very impressed with what I heard. A very cool mix of traditional heavy metal and gothic rock. So think about, maybe imagine Iron Maiden, Judas Priest meets Sisters of Mercy and The Cure, The Cult, that kind of stuff. A lot of emotion within all these songs. This guy really nails that 80s goth style of singing. And even though this has got that gothic, sort of vibe to it, there's still a lot of energy on this. A lot of punk attitude and energy going on here. Lots of really cool riffs. Guitar work is absolutely excellent. They even throw some double kick in with the drums. And he also does some really cool, like, werewolf kind of howls, and he does, like, these growls that is just really, really cool. Just a complete, total fun vibe and listen, even though this is still got that dark, sad, somber kind of feel to it. Saw these guys live this year. They opened for King Diamond. They were fucking excellent. I'd love to go see them again. This is going to be on a lot of year-end lists, and well-deserved. So yeah, Idle Hands with Mana. All right, next up we are going to another one that I do not own physically. This is Riot City with Burn the Night. This is a Canadian heavy speed metal band. Lots of similar vibes to Judas Priest. I hear a bit of Manila Road and Omen in these guys as well. Also, you can tell they were really influenced by the first 2, I would say, Running Wild albums, when they were, more speed metal before they became power metal. Awesome riffs on here, really high, shrill, wailing vocals, great vocals on here, just like you would want for this style of metal. really good solos, great production. Yeah, just another one of those excellent traditional heavy metal albums that came out this year. And I believe the label that this is on is called No Remorse. At first I thought this was on Cruz del Sur, but I guess I was mistaken with that. But yeah, Riot City, Burn the Night, more great traditional heavy metal for you to check out this year. So yeah. Next up, Lunar Shadow with Smokeless Fires. This is their second full length. This is a Cruz del Sur release. So this was my introduction to this band. Once again, another band that I discovered from watching Banger TV. Blaine Smith included it on his Metal Monthly. Sounded like something that was definitely up my alley. And what's different about Lunar Shadow is they are a traditional heavy metal band that brings in a little bit of a black metal vibe on this album. Definitely not nearly as much as there is like heavy metal, but it's just really cool, epic, classic metal with a black metal kind of vibe to it. Great vocals, amazing guitar work, very, very solid drumming, a very good production as well. Yeah, I know I'm kind of repeating myself a lot here, but yeah, just another excellent classic metal release from 2019. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to hear what these guys do next. So, Lunar Shadow with the Smokeless Fires. And the last one I have to talk about is Cerebral Rot with Odious Descent into Decay. This is their debut full length, released on 20 Bucks Spin, another band from the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, very, very similar vibes to the Fetid album from this year. Absolutely guttural, vomited vocals, just devastatingly heavy, swampy, nasty, grimy death metal. You get the idea by this point. But even though, despite the swampy, nasty sound overall, there is still very solid and tight musicianship going on here. The playing is really, really good. Really good. Awesome blast beats that are really just thick and heavy. I love the double kick on here, and just the drum sound overall. Just really, really cool. Very, very organic drum performance on here. And yeah, just another really good, ugly, filthy death metal release for 2019. Yeah, Cerebral Rot with Odious Descent into Decay. And that is going to do it for part 3, people. So I will see you soon again for part 4. All right, have a good one.